Hello everyone, it's tier list making time again, like the Mortal Kombat again. This one's gonna be a bit different, and this will be just one video, or it should be, before I take any more takes or whatever. But we're going through the Mortal Kombat Deception roster, and we're going to put them on tiers based on offline play. We're actually gonna go offline. One, because I think all the tier lists now and you see will go off competitively, online or just again 2-player generally. And obviously, again, Deception, we're looking at in 2023, there is still like a semi-active community. Well, it is active, it's just quite small, of course, for Deception Online. My own experience is playing Unchained online because emulating that and getting online to work for that is super easy with the PPSSPP emulator. That is super easy to do. Problem is it's very scuffed, and the problem with that emulator is it's really hard to mod things. You get the 60 FPS patch, and apparently runs smoother, but I can't test it because I don't get the mod working. That's my experience with that, and I think a good amount of matches, but that is just a whole other thing, right? We're not talking about that. We're just talking about offline play against players. This probably applies to all versions of the game. I won't cover the exclusives, I don't think. I think I have a decent knowledge of them, but I think we'll just stick to the base 24 right now. Especially since the of course the exclusives come from a different version of the game, one that has different balancing stuff. Although I will say the different balancing doesn't particularly impact this list, so I would say let's just say we'll go off the PlayStation Xbox version, just because that's the one I played most. That's one I don't have emulated. I like legit have the Xbox version. So let's go for that. It is where I'm thinking. And again, there's some subjective stuff because when we look at offline play, everyone's viable, right? These games have a lot of very specific broken tech, but when you look at it from an offline perspective, it comes across as more balanced. Basically, this goes to all the 3D games, really. I mean, basically any MK game offline, it comes across as more balanced, and online is where you find out all the janky strategies and whatnot. And this is a game where you can employ a lot of those strategies to offline play. Some of them are like online circuits, various like different frame data stuff. This is of course the first MK game to go online, so that is like completely different. That's completely different. So I thought it would be interesting to do a tier list, and also, you know, I just want to get my opinions on the characters and stuff. So let's get into it. I am, again, looking at this as someone who has fucking hundreds of hours just playing towers and stuff, you know? Like I am someone who's played this game so much that I actively deleted my several year long save, start a new one just so I could not buy the chess combat stages, so that regular towers would generate more varied stages. Like, that's how freaking dedicated I am to this game. But I went through all that. So we've got a full roster, and I see you do have Khan and Goro. I could cover Khan and Goro, actually. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can cover those two, I think. I've done playthroughs with both of them. Well, I've recorded one as Shao Kahn and I've played as Goro. I don't think I recorded my Goro playthrough. Another tier list I might do, this will be another video, let me know if you're interested, is a speedrun tier list. Although that one's very tricky because I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential in characters and we're still kind of exploring stuff. Like, Cobra was the optimal pick. And also it's weird because different characters are more viable in different categories and stuff. But let's say the max difficulty arcade playthrough, Cobra is the most optimal one for his longest Kali 6 string. And now it's Ashra. So that's something that changes a lot. Unfortunately, I haven't been too active, I don't think. You know what I mean? I just played last one and make a submission. which was months ago now. But yeah, it's still semi-active. Of course, MK speedrunning isn't like this crazy popular thing. It's very niche, and I think the 3D games, or at least that 2000s period of games, those are the most ran games, to my knowledge. But yes, that's all that out of the way. Let's just get to it. Well, this is already in alphabetical order, so you might as well cover it like that. So we have Ashra, and Ashra is very good. She is very, very good. Offline play. And I mean, it's everything. She's just very well rounded generally. She has a star ranch card which goes between all the styles, and something that isn't too important for online play, at least from my knowledge, or at least it's less important, but it's much more important here, is the long combo strings. They are very, very important. Not essential, but if you have them, then they're going to be very useful if you learn to do the inputs, of course, because they're very long. If they're a star branch that goes between all three styles, then that's usually like 7 or 8 inputs on average. So yeah, the longest combos, and because of that, they're very effective against the AI, because the AI, I mean, you have breakers, and breakers are such an effective counter, just generally, but I mean, especially for if you're playing online, because if someone was doing a broken strategy, you can just immediately use a breaker out of it. And the AI is quite smart at using breakers, even on the lower difficulties. The lower difficulties, they arguably are more defensive. And that's why in like speedrunning, you might see some runs on like the any percent categories where you can just pick any difficulty you want. Some people won't even pick the lowest difficulty because they might find it more beneficial to whatever character they're running as to have a different difficulty set. So yeah, that's interesting. But regardless, I mean, say they do that, and if they're actually happy using the breakers, then they're left with none, or sometimes they just won't use the breakers, you know. And that's the case, then yeah, you land the kit and the combo, you do the full string, and that's going to do a ton of damage regardless of what string it is, regardless of what you can follow up with. Typically, these long combos, you can't even follow up with much. It's usually just that string in particular is most of the combo. Ashra's ends in, well, she has a few various enders, but the most prominent one, if you're just doing that from the start, is going to be her pop-up. And, I mean, simply, once you do that, you can just switch back to a first stance and just do it over again. I would commit style names, but I butcher all the names, so I'll probably just say first style, second style, then third style, or weapon style. Chris, of course, weapon. And weapon styles are quite a mixed bag. A lot of characters will have either good weapon styles that are better than the hand-to-hand styles, or it's the opposite, where they have really good hand-to-hands and just shit weapons. And that's just very well-rounded in that she has both. I think her first style is the best because of that long string. The second style also some branches into the Chris, and because there's a combo enders, you can do the full string, and then off the Chris pop up, you can then go back to your first style, do the same combo except choose a different ender, and you don't need to do that, but that's like very effective. I can't recall like specific damage numbers because again it's just like experience over several years, and I mean I have played recently, but I've played like Darius and Havoc. Those are the two I'm playing because MK12 of course, bringing back Deception cards for the first time, which is criminal. So yeah, that's what I was like. Okay, I want to check Deception out again because MK12 doesn't make you want to play MK12, it makes you want to play Deception. that's the feeling that I usually get off of trailers. I'm like, man, Havoc, wow, I loved him in Deception. But yes, Ashra, just generally solid, and we haven't even touched upon her special moves. Her special moves are very good. She has like an upwards projectile, which can often miss with the AI. Projectiles like that, the AI will often jump backwards. But I feel like her upwards projectile doesn't, the AI doesn't do that as much, I feel. She has a better one that's like up close. It's blinding light, I think they call it. I can't remember. I can't remember projectile names, but the one where she just like shoots like a bit of light, like it's very short distance. You know, it hasn't got good range, but it causes a ton of knockback. Um, so it's an interesting projectile for that because it's for zoning and also not at the same time because you're doing it up close, but then you get the knockback and then you can do zoning tools. The torpedo spin also good for that if you do that and it creates enough distance and then just do a torpedo spin and that still connect. Sometimes when you do, of course it's quite unsafe. But that's another thing. That's another pretty major thing. Being safe on block or unsafe on block, whatever, typically not too important against CI. It will be on max difficulty because they will punish you. But aside that's pretty fair. I typically play on hard difficulty for context. And I don't think the rankings really shift based on difficulty. I still think the tiers remain the same. So yeah, I don't think difficulty matters per se. But yeah, max difficulty will get a tough time for being unsafe. So if you are just playing a on max, which I don't know anyone who does, like even people who are masters at this game don't often play it because it's like quite the typical classic MK, like really busted AI who will just counter all your shit. Not as broken as the arcade games, of course, but hard difficulty is definitely the most well-rounded the AI. You get a good bit of challenge, but it's not like annoyingly broken. That's my opinion, at least. So yeah, an Astra spin cycle, very good. Again, very short range, and it can mean you can whiff it a lot. You can just miss it quite a bit, even when you're aware, like the catching it, just because it's just such a short range. But you get a good bit of reward there because it's a pop up and you can easily do a combo. And again, we talk about those star branch combos, those long strings. That's what makes that so effective, having a ton of pop up options, because that allows for not only long combos, but they do have decent damage scaling, which for multiple combos of that many hits, not too usual. But yeah, you can get like pretty easy 40+% combos without any jankiness. She just has that in her kit naturally. So yeah, I think she's pretty good. She's just well-rounded. She's very solid in everything, every style. I don't really mention the Chris and why the Chris is so good. Of course, you have that pop-up, which it's very safe if you do it on its own. And I mean, weapon pop-ups, I always like that. But she does have a couple strings, which more than one for a weapon style is quite impressive. You have the one in a lot of characters where you just do 3 jabs while holding the weapon, so you don't even use the weapon. A lot of characters have this, like Havoc's another one off the top of my head. And it doesn't do much damage, and I only realized this recently, I'll be honest. It basically, because it causes that like stunned state where like hurt, like feeling their head because they just got fucking bopped and they're hurting, right? And they're like staggering back or whatever. But they can still block, right? So I always thought, oh, that's just a visual thing. But no, because they aren't in control of their movement, you can get a free throw out of that. So that's actually quite good. Astra's throw is a pop-up, which means you don't have like the broken OTG bullshit, which is off the ground. So basically, a lot of characters will have throws that are just regular throws. You drop to the ground. However, if you get hit while on the ground after the throw, it just starts a combo. And because the throw isn't normally a part that it's not expected, so it doesn't scale the damage. You get really big damage stuff. And I mean, if it varies in difficulty. And I might not remember every character has them because there's a lot of them. Throws are super broken in this game. There's not no MK game with throws as broken as MK Deceptions. But yeah, to my knowledge, Astra does not have that tool because she's one of the few whose throws are meant to do a pop up, which is good on its own, of course. Especially casually, if you don't know about the OTG stuff, then that just seems like one of the best throws. And naturally, it would be. It would be, right? If it does a pop up, you think it would be. Again, another pop up tool, another one that you can just go into your very long string and just get some big damage. It always kind of goes back to that one string. I feel is kind of the game plan. Is whatever way you can, you want to get your pop up in if you try to do a combo, and then you can do that thing. If you have a chance to punish him, and you're in the first style, then you can just go with that style. Second style is more of just a transitional thing. It feels. I don't feel like you just be regularly doing moves off that style as often as the other ones. At least it's still very good. There's a good variety of combo strings and whatnot. But yeah, you're probably only using it only when you're transitioning through a combo, right? And that's the thing, you're usually just using style branch combos, it feels. So yeah, she's just very effective in all regards, really. I think, and I don't know because you see it, and also, I don't know if we will even need a D tier, because, I mean, it's often 5 tiers for competitive rankings. However, with offline, I think all my previous lists have always been within 4 tiers, but I will leave the D tier in case. But I don't think one. I think Astra could be an S, but we'll hold off right now. She's just very effective in everything. But nothing too crazy compared to some other characters, and that might be what keeps her an A. But I'll compare. I think she's definitely top of A, because she's very much a high A tier. Next, Baraka, again, probably an A tier character. Very fantastic, just solid all around. Special moves doesn't have many, has a decent projectile and the blade stock. Has blade charge, which does some crazy things with this, okay? So, wall combos, you can actually spam it. You can do it over and over and over. I think, I mean, I've seen videos where you just keep doing it. You can just keep doing it and get like an infinite, basically, or at least over 100% of how many times you do it. But that seems unrealistic to expect in a real match because it's like very specific wall placement. But what I have found you can just do normally is you can get 2 of them off, and it scales quite nicely. And just generally, you can use it to end a lot of combos. I know my go-to is a 50% combo, just using the blade style. And that is because of that blade charge that has a lot of damage to it, and yeah, it's just very effective. His weapon style is probably the best that he has, for sure. Definitely the best, actually, because he has a nice pop up, and he's got like a 5-hit, pretty lengthy string with his blades. Again, that's how you get very good damage just off of that alone. Simple but effective. As far as hand-to-hand styles, these are my camp pronouns, Salat and Hungar, at least I think that's how I pronounce. Hungar's pretty good. It's always been a very solid one. It was very good for Reptile and Data Alliance. It's good for Baraka here. Not as good because different style branch combos. Which he has some decent style branch combos, but again, I think your best damage when it comes to combos is just the blades, and they don't the most effective one, but yeah, his hands are very good. So that's good. Hungar is sad. Weirdly, and this is only to Baraka's Hungar, Reptile doesn't have this. You press up and Y, or up 2, let's say. That's 2. I get it confused all the time. Right? The fucking universal indicator thing. I don't care for that. Honestly, again, that's why I'm talking offline, like comparatively. Um, but yeah, do that. He does a hop. He just does a hop, and that's it. That's the whole movie. It's not even listed on the thing. He just does like this weird hop thing. I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's one of the few unlisted moves. I know there's a few Star stuff. Like Shijinko has one, which it doesn't really matter. It's unlisted. It's just like a variation of, like he's one of those characters that have many of the Star Branch combos, where it's the same one technically, but there's like several variations on how you end it. One of the options for ending the Star Branch combo just isn't listed. That's another one. I think there's some others, but not too many. And Armageddon just like misses like huge chunks of character movesets. The moves list in Armageddon are a mess. Deceptions are fine though. But yeah, I that's a fun thing. It doesn't really offer you anything, because regular jumping is better. You can't like follow it up with anything. It's just a weird, funny hop. So next time you're playing as Baraka, check that out, Hungar style. It's very funny. One of it, most like a noble Star Branch thing. Noble part is when he gets to the blade style, if you do a Star Branch into the blaze, he stabs you in the eyes with the blaze, and then again it's the stun thing, and you get a throw off that. Baraka, I don't know if he can OTG, I will admit. He like his throw, he just like grabs you, he like jumps up with you and just like jumps on you, and like he lands on your back when you fall. And I can't remember how to use because it creates variance distances. I think his might not, but I could be wrong, because there's a plethora of like just hidden jankiness with these games, these midway MK games. It does some interesting stuff, but I don't think his does, or at least you're not going to find an easy time doing it. But yeah, when I've tried, I never had managed to have that happen. So as far as whatever, it does the trick. It's a working throw to my knowledge. It does what it's meant to do. So yeah, that's that really. I think. What else? I mean, it has various pop-ups and stuff. Quite fast ones actually. Speaking of fast stuff, he has a lot of fast movement stuff, I feel. Hungar's always been relatively fast with movement. Doesn't have any crazy movement stuff, like for example, Daylight's Dramin. Dude has such an insanely fast backdash. He is insane. Anybody who thinks Dramin is low tier does not understand how to play as him. What a creative character, but yes, Baraka. Which, funny enough, Hungar goes to Dramin in Armageddon, so that's funny. You mentioned all the characters that have Hungar. Hungar's just always solid. It's probably as weakest with Baraka in Deception compared to Dramin's in Armageddon and definitely Reptiles in Data Alliance, but it's still strong, certainly. He just gets a lot of, like, he's similar to effective when it comes to his damage. He is just a lot of solid damage opportunities, again, mainly in the Blaze, but I think he's got a lot of good combo strings. Just a lot of mix-ups, I feel. I don't know how safe he is on block per se, but I think he's pretty strong. He's pretty balanced. Strong in the balance sense, it feels. Of course, he has his chop blades, which are decent. This is probably one of the weakest versions of them in the 3D games, probably, because one, they're unsafe. They can make for a good combo ender, but at the same time, I feel like Blade Charge will get more out of. And I say that because Chop with the range of it, I don't think there's many opportunities where you can do a string and then go into Chop blades. That's always like the very challenging thing, looking for combos like that. And if a character has a combo like that you can just pull off normally in normal matches, no bullshit or anything, then usually that gets you pretty high up, at least in my eyes. Baraka has that with the blade charge, as I mentioned. You can do whatever pop up, and then you can go into that full arm blade combo. And then, even though it's created a lot of distance, the blade charge covers that distance to hit him. And if it's against the wall, you can hit him again a second time for some extra. I can't remember how many. It's like 3%. I think it's quite low because of all the amount of hits that have come before it. But that's a nice little bonus. It might be 6 actually. I don't know. I don't know where I'm thinking of these numbers. I think 56% rock on. That sounds like something I've done. I can't remember. I know it's just flat out 50%. The regular midstream single pop up. I believe it is his blades one that does the most damage. So it might just been blades, and then do the string into blade charge. Again, you gotta time it right so you get enough height so the opponent doesn't land before you can then get a blade charge. It's very cool. And what I like what MK vs DC and of course the NRS games follow up with this is you can do your strings and then cancel into your special move. It's really cool to get creative with the limitations put on the special move so that they feel very special when you can do a string and then into the special and whatnot. But yeah, if you find combos like that, they're always going to be very strong combos. And Rock is no different. I think Chop Chop doesn't really offer that. Does more damage than the blade charge, if I recall correctly. Of course, it doesn't scale well, but you're not going to be able to follow up a combo. It's a combo ender, and one that doesn't seem like an optimal one. If you just do it on the regular, if you happen to catch them off, then sure. Like if you're playing on a lower difficult, yeah, you can just bust it out randomly, sure. But yeah, it's not a very optimal move for whatever you're doing, because it's like, oh, I could do the chop chop plays here, or I could just do a combo string and do more damage, right? I don't see much use in it. There's a few special moves like that where they just feel like, oh, it's cool to have them, but I don't see an ideal use for them. It doesn't weigh Barakadano because his stars are so solid that, and also his other special moves. I mean, a projectile always handy. It's not a crazy incredible one, but it does the trick with the blade spark. And blade charge is fantastic. It's very strong. And you can just catch them off guard. It covers a lot of range. You can just do it randomly. So, yeah, I think blade charge is very good. Combine it with his styles. He's not 80. I'd put him below Asher probably, but yeah, these two probably go next to each other, I feel. Baraicho, typically in the top 3 of Deception and Dead Alliance, is a very strong character in these games. And he probably is going to make it to my S tier. I think that will be one thing that remains consistent here, because there are a lot of stuff. He has OTGs. Although his I find a bit difficult because you need to be in certain styles. Is it sumo? I think it's sumo. It's definitely not Drunken Fist. Drunken Fist is a very slow stance. In terms of movement, the attacks are quite fast. But yeah, his throw will just get out of the way since I brought it up. He just grabs you, slams face on the floor. You fall down, and because you kind of bounce on the floor a bit. I guess it gives Baraicho enough time to walk over and do a combo. And yes, I think it is sumo. And sumo has a lot of badge combos. It's one that can badge between all 3. I don't think that you can get all the hits if you do the one that's all 3, but he has another one, and I'm trying to think of what it was, but I think I've got 60% or something. I think I might have been off the wall though. If you get off the wall, then it prevents it from pushing back, so you might be able to start up a combo without being in sumo. And if you're quick enough in switching styles, you don't need to start in sumo, but you'll need sumo to move to the opponent, if I recall correctly. So yeah, a pretty decent OTG, not particularly strong, but you can get some very big damage off of it, even though it is quite tricky to get the timing of everything right. Even without that, just very good in all styles. The weakest one's probably Drunken Fist. I mean, typically the second style is the weakest one, because it's kind of it's like the secondary hand-to-hand, you know. But I mean, even Drunken Fist is pretty solid. It has a unique string with the elbows and the punches. It's like 5 hits. It doesn't do a thing. particularly great amount of damage, at least when comboed. On its own, it's solid. I don't know how safe it is, but yeah. And I know he has some good pokes in Drunken Fist in particular. So yeah, it's pretty decent. Sumo is certainly a standout. Because just nobody for that so much kind of like Ashra goes for all three styles and ends it with the pop up using the staff, and he gets pretty similar damage off of that if you just do another combo off of it. Again, after that, you might want to just go back to Sumo and just do another Star Badge combo. But I think sticking with Jujutsu, because he has some good string of Jujutsu. It's one of the best weapon styles in the game, in my opinion. It's fantastic. And it's like a 5 hits or whatever, YBB up A or something. I can't remember the specific input. But he has a decent enough string, and I think you can get all the hits off on that and do some good damage. I can't remember. It's been a while, so I can't remember the specific move names or the OTG specifics, the damage specifics, that is. But yeah, he's very solid. Special moves are fantastic. Puke Puddle's very good. And it's the best stun of the sun moves, because the problem with Smoky Cloud and Sub-Zero's Ice Clone is you move back and it takes the character's place. But Raicho, he doesn't move back, he just vomits forward. So you can just vomit on your opponent, right? Hypothetically. Not very safe to do that, but it does mean that it's going to be close to your opponent, therefore there's a higher chance of catching him off guard. And yeah, it's very good. I know there's infinites with it if you get a time right, because you can do a combo, then do a pupil on it. I've never managed to get that off. That's like, I think it's a pretty unrealistic infinite to strive for. That's the thing, there's a ton of infinites in this game, hypothetically, but I feel like most of them aren't possible in real matches. No, I mean, that doesn't apply to all of them, but yeah, I have not found many that can just do that. I haven't found any, really, actually. I know there are some, but I never managed to get any off myself. But yeah, that's very good tool. Pupil is arguably his best special move. His monkey flips do good damage. Very unsafe, also unsafe his belly bash. Both can be pretty good combo enders, actually. Monkey flips can multiple hits. Belly bash covering distance, you get a far out combo. I think there's a few where you can, again, it's kind of like the blade charge where you just use the belly bash, that sort of thing. Although I can't really think of any scenario where I've managed to do that. But I think hypothetically that's something he's capable of doing. I'm trying to think of a combo string that would be able to get that off. And I can't. He has Earthquake, I think. It's his ground pound. He steps on the ground, causes an earthquake because he's fat. It's unblockable. You have to jump it to avoid it, and that's always pretty solid. The only downside is the start for it's quite slow. You're gonna want to be a distance away to do it, and yeah, it's not like Darius Tombstone Drop. You're not gonna get a combo off it or anything. But it's an unblockable range attack. That's always gonna be good. I asked the specials. Which pretty strong specials, definitely one of the strongest characters when it comes to special moves. And again, just solid fighting styles throughout. I think special permanent S, maybe bottom S. But I think, again, we're looking at a crowd of characters that are quite close in terms of their abilities and stuff. But I think Raichu has more than Asher and Baraka, the OTGs, and I think his special moves overall, you're going to get more out of them. So I'm going to put him in S tier. Here we go. Moving up. Do S tier. He's just so good. He's got broken stuff with the OTG and stuff, but it's not tricky to pull off. And yeah, just generally you're going to get good damage. You're going to get good damage. He's got good post. Jujutsu has a ton of range, of course. Just very strong overall. So that's an S tier for our favourite master. Next is Dairu. Oh boy. I think Dairu's probably an S when we're looking at it. And that's not even for the Tombstone drop jankiness. Because, I mean, that's only like a very major problem online. Because online, like the different like frame rate and stuff, you can, I just not run it. But I mean, spamming it regardless is going to be effective because, yeah, it's unblockable. And you can combo into it, right? That's probably going to be your game plan if you're just doing that, you know, you're doing something, you can't help it. You don't get very good combos out of it, though. Because, I mean, the pop-up, like, it's quite hard for it to come towards you. You might just whiff your follow-up string altogether. People, you're not going to get a whole much. You're going to get, like, a string off of it, and then that's it. But by the time you've knocked them down, just do another Tombstone drop, that's the thing. Because Tombstone drops are so effective at that, and you're going to get a lot of damage regardless. And it's very safe because of how quick it moves. Again, this is the PlayStation Xbox version. It's so strong in GameCube and Unchained, but they did nerf it. And I can't remember how they nerfed it. I think it's the they nerfed it by I can't remember if it's stop or like have it, or if they nerfed being able to spam it. I can't remember the specific frame to change on that. But it's nerfed in some way. So yeah, that's already broken. He gets two other special moves. Iron Leg, a pretty good projectile. It's quite fast. He like sticks his leg out, shoots like a projectile. That's like a shuriken. Pretty cool. He has some cool. His specials are just really cool. Dairu is a cool character. And then his last special is Stealthy Shadows, where he swaps you and your opponent. Super effective. Shang Tsung weirdly stole this move in MK vs DC, and MK just gave it back to Tsung. So it's a Shang Tsung move now, which is weird, but yeah, it started with Dairu here. And it's very cool. It can be blocked if you're just blocking and it doesn't take effect. And actually you can punish Dairu, so don't really do it up close. Well, you can, and there's benefits to it. So, I mean, if you do it from afar, you're not going to get much out of it other than just swapping places. I believe it does like a little bit of damage. Like a sliver of damage. I think it takes like 3% or whatever. It's mainly about changing positioning, right? And you do that swap. And, you know, considering death traps are in this game and whatnot, that's what makes this ability very important. To get out of the corners for one thing. The other thing that's more important in this game is getting away from death traps, stage transitions even, just whatever. You can just swap with your opponent and get them up close. Let them come to you. I have the chess combat speedrun world record because I set the stages of the pit. I had Dairu as my champion. When I went to fight the leader, I just walked backwards, walked to the edge of the ring mount, the death trap line, swapped, hit him. I think I did a break at first, or whatever. Hit him again, they're just in. That's the only part that prevents you from just straight away just swapping around, knocking into a death trap is the fact that they can just do a breaker, obviously, or just block straight up. But yeah, now you've got him on the death trap side. It can set you up for death traps, and of course, death traps just win you the round. So very effective move, very effective, and I believe there are combos. I can't do any of them personally, but I believe there are combos where you can do the swap at the end of a combo. This is like a little bonus thing. In terms of the styles, again, those are just free special moves, and they're all pretty good. You have a lot just from that. I know you can just win games off of a special move kit alone. His styles, Wing Chun and a Screamer, both very good styles, I feel. A Screamer, this is one where you're actually going to be in the second style a lot. That's going to be like your primary style. If you're not an Autumn Dow, his weapon. And this was Quan Chi's style, one of them, in Daylights, of course. And I believe it's the same here, other than the fact that obviously pop-ups work differently in this one. And here it has effect pop-up up Y. You get this nice little pop-up, scales nicely with his other moves. That's throwing up convenience. That's why you kind of want to be in that style, because if you got an opportunity to do a combo, that's kind of how you want to start it. I don't think Wing Chun has any pop-ups actually, and that's why I prefer to be in a screamer. That's my game plan at least. And he has a full string that uses the pop-up at the end. And then following that, I mean, a screamer he doesn't have any star branches that go between all the stars. He has one in Wing Chun that go into a screamer. That's pretty solid. But his best ones are in a screamer into Orm Dao. His star branch comes, he has two of them. They're effective. YA style chance that has 2 hits. And then you go into the low attack. You can mix it up, because that is the same startup as the one into the pop-up. So if they're blocking it, then just change it and try and get a low in, right? Because he does a spinning attack and it's very effective. It's a decent amount of damage as well. Alternatively, there's another one that just ends in him doing like this overhead slash thing. Does a decent amount of damage, and that can be your combo ender, right? That can just be your combo ender after the pop-up. Or you just switch to Orm Dao. You can do 2 hits and you has this forward aid. He has some good strings. He has. I think they both start with pressing X twice. Again, I'm going off of Xbox controls. That's just how my brain works. Because I don't want to go off the Universal Indicator, because I get that muddled up. So I could be saying the wrong inputs. But if you know, you know. He has his 2 combo strings in Orm Dao. His weapon, which is just like Kung Lao's sword. His Dao. Which is a very good weapon. Very good. And he has those 2 strings. One, he like spins the blade forward and just knocks down, which is very cool. Or he has this one where he has like an upward strike with the sword. And if you're against the wall, you're going to want to do that, because that lets you then, it has how the walls work in this game, is you do a string, right, when against the wall. And it can be interrupted, there'll be a pause, which means you can't like just finish a combo, but that benefits you actually, because then you could just do another hit, or multiple hits in some cases. For example, a very simple example, your thing gets interrupted by the wall, then it gives you the time to just do an uppercut. That's some nice bonus damage. So stuff like that. He can take advantage of. Wing Chun, and this is what I think is his best damage off of the pop-up, is swapping over to Wing Chun to do his long string there. I think I can't remember how much damage it is, but I remember that's very effective. It's like, I think it's 40-something%. It's very solid, which we've gotten like into the 50s for Baraka and Baraicho, but overall when you look at his whole toolkit, there's just more going on. Or at least more effectiveness going on. Because, you know, all the styles have a major role. Orm Dao and Wing Chun both for combos. Wing Chun's decent enough, or if you're doing hand-to-hand, I think it's got some fast moves, I think it's got some safe moves. And decent star branch into a screamer. You might start a fight just sticking Wing Chun, get a star branch off, now you're in a screamer, and you can stick with that star until you can get a good combo, right? So there's a lot of options how to play his Dairu. You know, you could just fuck around with the tombstone drop, right? Like, there's so much combo potential with this guy. And there's so much variety. His throws, like this arm breaking, he swaps you around. I don't believe that it doesn't do a regular OTG, but I think what you can do is you do the arm breaking and you can do a free swap. I think that's something you do. You might want to do a free tombstone drop of it. I can't remember. But even assuming that there's nothing broken with that throw, I think it's S tier. For sure. I don't know if he goes above pressure. Let's think about this, right? They both have very strong special moves, and they're very styles they have just generally very good stances, very good abilities. So they're kind of equal. I feel like, I don't know. Because I feel for offline play, the OTGs are more important as something like Tombstone Drop bollocks. Especially when the AI does know to jump a lot. Again, it's one of those where the AI will know to jump out the way quite a bit, depending on your difficulty. So I'm actually going to keep a right show above, I feel. I don't think Daru is like exactly number one, I wouldn't say, for offline, but he's definitely in talks for it, I feel. So we'll give him an S. I think we'll keep Borracho at the top for now. Darius is really good. Darius is very good. Mainly because of his throw, admittedly, but he has some good stuff. Admittedly, his hand-to-hands aren't as good as characters you've been talking about before. I think it's star branch into each of them. I think it's like Diary, where you have a star branch and hand-to-hands, you have a full star branch. I mean, there's some good stuff. I said there's some good stuff. I think all his strings are unsafe in his hand-to-hand style, and probably his weapon too. But his weapon, his gauntlets, are very effective. So he's the one that definitely feels like, oh, it's more of a one style kind of thing where you're going to be mainly in his weapon style. And I see a lot of videos about like how to play these characters, and just a lot of posts or whatever. And usually the advice is, oh, you just stick to the one style. And if that's the weapon style, no, you don't want to do that. And I don't know how many people know and how many people don't, but I feel I'd mention it with a character like this. Because I feel in this game, he's probably the most, stick to your weapon style, heavy character. You take more damage in the weapon style. You take more damage. So even if it's just for the defense, you're going to want to swap out of that style. A very simple one, if there's a throw-in coming, you have the time to just switch styles. You take less damage off the throw-in. But yes, Darius. I completely forgot I even did this, right? His big, cool-ass backbreaker throw. Very cool. Offers a lot of combos with the OTGs here. And it's weird, and it's so easy to follow up with. And I think you can just move to each style, because he has decent movement. I will give him that. He has decent movement. So you get the throw-in, and then, say gauntlets, you can just do, he has like one string with the gauntlets. Well, multiple, but they're all the same, and it just depends on how many hits you do. So it's like 2 hits with the blades, and then he has like these 3 kicks. You can just do the kicks on their own, but that's not very effective. And yeah, you can do the 2 blades, and then you can, I think you can get another kick in. You can't get all 3 kicks off the OTG. I think you can get 2 in. Although it's very easy to just get the 1 and kick in. You might often miss a second kick. And that is 49%. That is 49% off a throw and 3 hits, not even a full combo string. Seems a bit broken, doesn't it? Right? And there's a lot of things he can do. There's a lot of things you could do with Darius and his throw. You know what, I actually just checked. I went to the game and checked. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff. I'm quite simply 49% those 2 hits. I know I seen a lot of gameplay people actually do a pop-up and then do the string. A, usually pop-up, or you can do forward Y, and you get 48%. But yeah, that does less damage because it doesn't scale as well. But you get a better, because it gives you better height that way. It gives you regular pop-up height, right? So it might be easier that way. But yeah, you're basically near 50%. Just from that. I believe he has some infinites for the throws, and I'm not exactly sure. I think it's one of his attacks, one of his... So he has... Hold on, I need to check. Because he has one called Target Practice and one called Chest Cruncher. Okay. Target Practice is the low one, Chest Cruncher is the high one. Okay. So, again, chest crunch is not even high. I think it's a mid attack. Mid as in middle. It's actually quite a good special. And so the thing is, target practice, you just dive straight forward. He like flies in with this slow attack, right? Knocks him down. And chest cruncher, more unsafe because it's not, you can't catch them up low. If they're blocking, they're blocking. But you do a sidestep, so there's that. I believe it's target practice. Target practice where you can just get a throw, you can use it, get a free throw off of it because you've dove to them, you're near them, they get up, you come in the throw. I don't know how that works. I don't know the specifics. I will admit, I'm not too much in the specifics of getting free throws off of doing attacks because they'll get up and you're there to do a throw. I don't know particularly how that works, but that's something that's brought along in the competitive thing. I believe he has easier ones here. Just have a target practice, and then you do that, and then you get the OTG off target practice, diving back into him. That's 27% each time you do that, and then the logical assumption is when they get up, you can do another grab, and that's an infinite. Apparently, that's something, and I'm trying to. And I will try an actual match because you can't really tell in practice if this would actually get him or not. I don't think it would, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know this stuff, right? I don't know the throw get up specifics. But while I check that, let's talk about the other moves. Which, by the way, his throw is called chiropractor. That's pretty funny. Now, his other specials, he has twisty kick. And has a tricky blast, I think it's called. Tricky blast is just a regular projectile. Twisted kicks are several kicks, spins around. We see it in MK12. Spins around, does some decent damage off of it. Though, and it's good. It's a good combo ender. Though you're probably going to be using the gauntlets instead as a combo ender. And it's quite unsafe, obviously, but you do get good damage out of it. Okay, that is not infinite, unless I'm doing something wrong. Maybe these throw infinites are only work with online. Maybe that's what it is, because again, different netcode and stuff. Not netcode, just different frame data and stuff. Because of the netcode, not different netcode. That might be it. Because I have not experienced any of these throws working as infinites. But this could just be me being stupid. But this is definitely a blind spot in my knowledge of this game. Those free throws. But that doesn't seem to work for me. But regardless, very simple OTG. A very simple damage. There might be more that you can do with it than what I know. But I do know it's pretty fucking strong regardless. His hand stars, again, I said it weren't great. That's mainly for scaling, because Shinto Ryu, his first star especially, has a lot of good stuff. Funny enough, he actually has a string that mirrors his gauntlet style. Just 2 hits, X and Y, and then just a trio of kicks. Difference is this one doesn't do 26%, it does 17 or something like that. So the damage scaling is not too great. It's nothing crazy, but there's a lot of good string variety, there's a lot of mix-ups. And the star branch from Shinto Ryu to Leopard's decent, because it gives you a knockdown, decent damage. Leopard, again, you got a decent amount of options, not as many strings as Shinto Ryu, and also the star branch into a gauntlet attack, which is like this big overhead attack. Not overhead, but it sends you over your literal head. It sends you to the other side, so that's a side swap thing, which can be useful, definitely. I think that's his uppercut. No, I can't remember. But yeah, he does have that attack. It does a strong gouge. Gauntlets in general, like the ones that are just single attacks, very unsafe and vigorous, but again, good damage from single hits. And then of course you have the very good combo string he has with gauntlets. Gauntlets again is what raises him up, because even if he had that OTG, again, his hand-to-hands don't do a crazy amount of damage in comparison. And that's the thing. It's kind of just comes down to these styles aren't bad. Their damage scaling is just not as impressive as the gauntlets. All the special moves have a use. He has a solid projectile. target practice is good because it's a low, and you can mix it up with the one that has a sidestep and twisted kicks, taking a risk whenever you use it, but it's always pretty effective in damage. So Darius is very good. I think he has a lot of weak spots, but his strong spots are in gauntlets, and the fact that he has a very broken OTG. So, not S. I don't think it's S. There's too many flaws with him to not put him put him in S. But I think he's A tier, especially because I'd say the easiest OTG to do. I'd say because you can just do it anywhere and just get that free 48%. And when I think about how easy it is to do, like seriously, if you're a complete noob, you can't do the style range combos. You struggle to just do any combo strings. Try what I mentioned on just doing the throw, walk up, and that's probably the most difficult thing. And even then, it's not that hard. Just walk up and make sure you get the attacks before they get up. Right, X, Y, B. Don't bother with the rest of the string. Don't bother with a pop or whatever. Just X, Y, and B. Just do a third, half. Not a third. A half of that combo string, and you've got 49%. You took half their life, bar from that. And from that alone, you could say, yeah, he should be an S tier. And I don't know. I'm really not sure. He's one that I feel like I need to experiment with more. Because the thing with throws is side steps, ducks, whatever. Hard to get off in this game in particular. In a 3D game, the throws are hard to get off. But you get a lot of reward if you get off for Darius. You get a lot off it. You get half the health bar, to be exact. So he's in A tier undeniably from that alone. I think it's very slept on. I think comparatively online, there's more broken stuff. But this is one of the most broken and easy to implement in your own playstyle factors of Darius that make him such a strong character. Whereas he'd probably be like B. I say B. He's very much up there, and I don't know if I'd put him in the frog. The thing is, while it's very easy, I don't think you're not getting higher than 50%. I think there's more potential and more variety in what these two can do compared to Darius. In terms of like high damage combos, Darius you can do some real cool stuff with. It's just a lot of it's not optimal. The most optimal thing is do a throw, right? Ermac, oh my god, Ermac is crazy. I saw some stuff at videos of you can do some crazy shit. I mentioned how doing special moves, following a juggle combo in the air, and having enough space to do the special move. He can do that with the telekinetic slam, sorry. And then he can do another string, because that's a pop-up. And then he can end it with the one with the telekinetic move where he grabs you and just throws you across the screen. So he has two. Insane. He has insane combo potential right now. It's well over 50%. It's a lot of effort. It's a very, very hard combo. But yeah, that is like the most of what I've seen of just him doing strings. I don't think he has an OTG. I could be completely wrong there, actually. I feel like he might be able to have one. You know what? Let's find out. OTGs are so broken. They can just change the tier of characters altogether. So it's worth seeing, but I don't recall him having it. But again, might just be me being dumb with the throws. But yeah, Ermac's just very good without any broken stuff. Another example of a good weapon style, even if it is just for one string, really. Although he does have a good pop-up. Or just like overhead axe attack. Okay, he does not, to my knowledge. The distance he creates, he like throws you up in the air and like hits you with a chop, and you just kind of slide across the floor. Creates too big a range to actually follow that up with anything. on mid-screen, and I tried a corner one. Maybe it's possible in the corner, but I just tried it, and it didn't OTG. It was just like a regular move following it. So I'm going to say he doesn't have one. He definitely doesn't mid-screen, that's for sure. I tried with a 10 slam and toss, because Noob and Smoke have, well, Noob does. Noob has this thing where he creates a bit of a difference OTG unless he's against the wall. However, he can do like a telekick following it, and that's guaranteed, and you get 26% off of that. And you're Smoke, who smokes the better of the two. So that's always how you start a fight with Noob Smoke, for me at least. But yeah, Owen doesn't have that. It seems because it's too big a range for you in the telekinesis moves to even reach. So you can't get like anything off there. If you could, that'd be crazy though, but I think that's not the case. But generally just really good damage. His axe, very good damage again, pop-up I mentioned. His combo string, again, it's like 2 hits to the weapon, and then he just does repeats move. This time it's the jabs, and he can just do jabs on his own against them, so I believe he gets a free throw off of that. Which that's always nice. His I mean, again, I feel like his weapon is best, but I've seen the combos he can do just being in the hand-to-hand style. But I think I've just been playing as Ermac all wrong. I have seen some real stuff that's changed my view on Ermac. Because I thought he was pretty mediocre, but I've seen his capabilities. So, and I think he's like an A tier, I think. I mean, I don't know what to say about hand hands, are just very solid. Again, I'm kind of like a similar case. Not that they play the same, and not that they're the same moves, but it's a case of, he's got two hand-hand styles, and each one has a style branch. A style branch just into the next style. I'm not going to pronounce the first one, but Troy Lee Fu. I shouldn't pronounce that one either. I don't know how to fucking pronounce them. They have short inputs that give you a lot. Like his first hand-to-hand, you're getting 3 hit strings at the most. And he has a lot of them. They most seem to start with pressing Y. Has a lot of options. One goes into a pop-up. And this pop-up's really effective. On its own, it's fine. What makes it really stand out is if you intentionally miss the first hit to get the second one off. Let me explain. And this goes through quite a few characters, actually. But from what I've seen, I might be capable of. I think it's most important with him. And basically, certain strings, they end in a pop-up, of course. And whenever there's a pop-up, you can do it on its own. However, because that's intended, it scales more naturally. If you miss the attacks before doing the pop-up in the string, the pop-up in the strings context, it will have better damage scaling. So, and in Ermac's case, it's just whiffing one move into the thing, which quite doable. Not online, not comparatively. And that's the thing, that's what really elevates Ermac, is offline, he has this incredible combo potential off of that. And even without, you can get some good damage, but that's what takes his damage to the next level. For example, his damage is just generally average, but you have a lot of combo potential. And quite easy ones. For example, the axe thing. You do an axe pop-up, you do the axe string, boom, let's quarter of the health, right? And it's like, wow, yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good for what you'll get, for what you're putting into it. But then it's just this, and it's just next level of, you do this pop-up, you do the string, you go into the target throw, you do the string again, and then you do a teleconnect toss. And then that's 50% of whatever. I can't think of the exact string that I saw, but yeah, it starts in his first style. It might have been his second style, but you do the string before. I don't know. I don't know because I only learned this recently. So I don't know the full capabilities of using this as a pop-up. I don't know the damage capabilities. And I only just also learned that you can just do the teleconnect throw after a string. And I think this is a new discovery because the advice on Ermac has always been you do the teleconnect toss at the end of each combo because that's typically very easy to do, or at least once you get the timing down, it's very easy to do. against Mondos, he just ends combo. It doesn't do much. It doesn't add much. But it's kind of like Daru, like doing his swap thing. Doesn't offer much, but you can end a combo with it, so why not? But yeah, having the Telekinetic Slam to just double the length of the combo, that is very incredible. And it's quite interesting. It very much is how the Telekinetic Slam works that way. I mean, because of course you do a pop-up, you can't just do one and then try to do another pop-up. It doesn't let you do that. It knocks you down. But a slam is a different case. Probably because they don't expect you to be able to do that. But it's really cool. It's very, very cool. And I definitely want to try out what I might do with those combos. On face value, he has a ton of stuff, but nothing that's really incredible in damage naturally. But he has variety of. He has fast movement. He has a lot of strings, quite short ones as well. He's probably quite easy to learn. I'd say, at least in terms of his stars, I think his special is difficult to do. You know, like Telekinetic Toss and Slam. They are quite curious inputs. Slam has the free movements inputs, and it's quite difficult to hang off. The other thing is like his Mystic Float thing, whatever it's called. And he is basically a stance. He goes into the air. He does like a classic stance thing where he's like floating in the air. And he's got like his hands together and whatnot. And he can just dive in with a kick on you or just slam on the ground, which I don't think is unblockable, but it might be because it is another like ground pound sort of move. But yeah, you get two options there. You can confuse. You won't. I noticed with the AI on high difficulties though, they normally just fuck you over regardless if you use that move. But it's decent on paper. And then he has a fine projectile again. You know, a lot of characters have projectiles that are basically equal in terms of their strength, which I do think is really good actually. The 3D area is fantastic in the sense of, I mean, it doesn't really matter for offline play, but I mean, zoning not an issue in this game because of the 3D movement, of course, and also the projectiles. They're well balanced. Most characters, you just have the same projectile capability, to a few exceptions. But the average projectile that a character will have has the same effectiveness as other projectiles, to my knowledge, with a few exceptions. So yeah, overall, very good. He has a lot of combat potential. He's one that's easy to learn, hard to master. I think there's a lot there. And yeah, I really do want to try him out more. I want to get better as Ermac. I do think he makes it to A tier for that big damage potential. Or again, quite a difficult startup, and again, the inputs and the timing, difficult. Very difficult, and I think that puts him at the lowest one so far. But he has the potential to be as effective as the characters on this tier here. And again, it's kind of like Darius is lower, you know, to get that damage. And again, there's obviously other factors and stuff, and I think Ermac has a lot of it in terms of the variety of mix-ups and stuff he has, and some strong special moves. But at the end of the day, it's always about just what gets the most damage. In offline play, that's kind of what it's about. What are you getting gives the most damage from? So yeah, combo is of course a big factor, and just generally special move utilization. That's what I'm kind of looking for as the main things here. So yeah, another A tier, and I'm quite surprised. Again, I don't think we will need this D tier. I really don't, especially when looking at this. I mean, there's so many characters or ARS so far. That's not going to be trend throughout, but yeah, Goro. Oh my. Goro and Shao Kahn are considered like pretty shit when it comes to online. Offline, oh no, they are very good. I would say so Goro comes in being strong when it comes to his special moves, his spinning hands, big chops, very, very hard hitting, there's a lot of damage. His ground pound, Again, it's like Dairo's Tombstone Drop actually, except it has a weaker startup. Yeah, you can get into a combo. Um, Although the thing at Goro, I think that probably drops it down a bit, is at least to my knowledge, maybe it's another case of Ermac where I'm unaware of his full capabilities, but he seems to be Captain Tower's potential. His styles, I mean, they're all pretty alright. I'm looking at the GameCube version here, and this is a version I've only emulated. So take my take on Goro. I was going to say Garo then, Jesus. Goro and Shao Kahn with a bit of a grain of salt. I think his surprising is a good blend of safe and unsafe stuff. You think a big guy like Goro would just be unsafe and everything, but I think Shao Kahn has a lot of safe stuff. Down pokes. His pokes are pretty good. I recall correctly. I think just generally, but I remember Shao Kahn having good pokes. Just generally good tools. Not much for combos though. And then the Quantum Style things had a decent launcher, but it was very unsafe in his attack. And he just has a lot of quick low pokes and stuff. And it's one where he has a lot of good tools, but not much combo potential, it feels. Like his Dragon Fangs. He has pretty success, but he kind of just like stabs you 3 times in a row. You just press, I think it's 3 times or whatever. And he has good range with his low attacks, although I think with his weapon style beyond low attacks. I don't know why I can remember that low. Again, take with a grain of salt, I could be wrong about this. His throw does good damage, I recall that. He has more damage than the average character, which is weird. Okay, so Shao Kahn does less damage. We'll get to Shao. Shao Kahn has a weak throw, and I couldn't tell you why. Whilst Goro has a stronger throw in terms of damage. This is the most. The throw creates a lot of range as well. He's not getting an OTG off it, but it does a lot of damage. I can't remember, it's like 20-something% though. It's like a fucking crazy amount. It's definitely not intended. I don't know if Unchained fixed it or not. But yeah, it feels like Shao Kahn lost like half his throw damage and was just given to Goro somehow. His special moves don't offer a lot. I mean, that range is good because he has like his stomp special move, which is alright. But again, on the AI and high difficulties, they have a tendency to jump out the way. The ground pound, again, you do the ground pound, brings them towards you. You can get a brief string in, but there's not much. It's like you're going to get like 3 hits in a string. I don't think there's any like strings longer than that. But yeah, he's got alright tools, but he's had his special moves, he's had his throw, which his throw is broken in a different way to the ones with the OTG. It's just he has broken damage, right? And that's why he's so effective in speedrunning. But I'm not looking at that. I think he does place slowing down. For sure. Again, I'm not sure what the lower tiers are going to look like. He could definitely move down because I think there's a lot of downsides to him. Other than just having good tools like low pose, good throw. And this is stuff that online I feel you get more actually. Because again, we're kind of thinking, oh, what's going to have most damage or whatnot. These tools are still effective in offline opponents. But typically when you're in street play, you're just trying to get in that big combo. Although I guess it depends on your playstyle. But yeah, I think he's strong in some places, weak in others. And the weakest part again is his strings. I think that holds him back from higher than a B. I think he gets to B though. I wouldn't put him bottom of the list personally. But that might change. A D tier, I think we can safely say needs to go now. We're not getting anyone in D tier. I think for offline it's a 4-tier gap. Not saying the online one having 5 tiers is inaccurate. I just think it 5 tiers doesn't work for this one. No one is down in that bottom F tier, right? Or D tier in this case. So yeah, Havoc. Oh, Havoc. Unfortunately, not very strong. He's stronger here than Armageddon. I'll give him that. But Not by much. Not by much. So he has a Shang Tsung style. He has a Quan Chi style, which is kind of funny for daylights, obviously. He has Snake and Tang Sudo. Um, and his weapon, okay, well, Morning Star. Morning Star is really cool for the character. In this game, it's kind of shit, right? So it's this is one of the few that has no actual strings, or he technically has one string, but it's not really anything. His one string is doing the free punch thing that I keep mentioning. That gets you a free throw, so that is actually quite useful. Admittedly, that's more use than I thought, because you can do that. You can do a throw. Havoc's throw is a pop-up, which means you're not getting good damage scaling with Havoc. Havoc has a ton of combo potential, but his damage scaling is shit. It's him and Melina that I feel like they're impacted by this the most, where they really can't get much good damage, even though they have good combo potential. They have a lot of good pop-ups. They have just a lot of tools generally, but they, in terms of their full capabilities, they are more capped due to damage scaling compared to other characters. And yeah, Havoc, his hand-hands are solid. There's no one where he has a star branch and hand-hands just an extra, doesn't have the full star branches. But, I mean, Tanks of Dough is a solid one because it does 3 hits, I think, and then he does this big pop-up with the Morning Star. Morning Star single attacks do a lot of damage, and something I've noticed with Morning Star, and there's a lot of attacks that do this in Armageddon. This might be the only one in Deception that does this. You do an uppercut against a wall, you have enough height to do it again. Which is very interesting. I think Havoc can be very effective up against the wall, I think, because you can get that uppercut in, and then you can do another one, or whatever. You just have an opportunity to just do more damage off the Morning Star uppercut. It doesn't do too much more, though. And again, like trying to do something like that against the wall, that's not going to have many scenarios. But that is something that isn't to Morning Star's credit. And you know that the tanks with no string into the pop-up, you're doing that, pushing him into a wall, then yeah, you can actually take him out, for sure. Snake's decent, has a lot of things. I think also has like one of those ones that like kind of gives him that stun state that allows for the free throw, but then not actually stun because they can still block, but you can still do the throw again. So I think that's another one. Again, a ton of combo potential, just doesn't scale well, and it's not just a knockdown. If you don't take damage, you can get like a low sweep attack in. Actually, no, sorry, that is Tang Sudo that has an attack that gets a sweep in. If you don't do the sweep star, so yeah, he's got some good mix-ups there with the low attacks and whatnot. I don't think he's particularly safe though. He just has a lot of mix-ups. His special moves are what probably hold him higher than C tier because they are quite effective, at least in offline. Corpse Dive, very effective, can catch the AI off guard quite often, diving in. And of course, I mean, anything that covers a lot of distance in this 3D game where you have stage transitions, you have death traps and stuff, that can always be beneficial, can get you out of any situations. Of course, it's unsafe, it is blocked. It is a low, however, so you have good chances, but you're still taking a gamble. He has Toss Spin, which is another one of those attacks where it does multiple hits, can be a good combo ender. Just good as just a standalone attack, but the problem though if you do it on its own is it's very unsafe, and the problem with doing it as a combo ender is it scales poorly. But yeah, it's decent Toss Spin. Good to see MK12 Havoc has that still. Literally the only recognizable part of Havoc, I'd say, is his gameplay in MK12 compared to Deception Havoc, which is a shame, but I can't say I'm surprised. Still find a way to complain about that game, even in a video like this. But yeah, that goes to solid abilities. He has a crackling knees skull projectile, shoots like this energy skull projectile thing, and it's a low attack, and the animation is really fun because he just snaps his legs to crouch down. He doesn't just crouch down normally; he just breaks his legs. It's super cool. If MK doesn't have it, that is a crying shame. That is unacceptable. It's such a fun move. His special moves are just so fun. They give him so much character. His taunts. He's one with taunts. The only one outside of Shao Kahn, so you have Base Deception, the regular Xbox PlayStation version. He's the only guy with taunts, and they're both healing ones. And I can't remember the specifics on Penis. I think one does more than the other. I can't recall which one. One is he literally snaps his body in half. Like at the torso, he just snaps it apart. He like collapses and shit. Which actually, I think you can use to duck projectiles and stuff. So if you're at range, it's probably safe to do that. I mean, you're probably going to be doing these out of range. And again, that's why something like the corpse dive thing. It's like when a corpse dive. That's a Shang Tsung move in MK11. I think it's corpse dive. I can't remember the name now. But the one where he just dives across the screen. That's good for crane range. And you do your thing, healing yourself by breaking your limbs and stuff. It's a fun idea. Here's the one: he just snaps his neck. He snaps it twice, so he gets 2 healing bits there. He gets to heal each time, and I think you take extra damage if you're caught while doing a taunt now. So very risk reward. And I can't remember which one's better. I'd assume the next snap does it because you get 2 healing points, but I can't recall if that's actually the same amount of healing, just it adds up or not. But I think it gives you more, and that's because the torso one, you just break yourself in half. That means you're more protected basically because you're low. That might be it, and you can do these as many times as you want in a match. However, each time you use it, the next time you'll get more health. You'll get less health off of it. Sorry. So that's a clever way of balancing it, I feel. So for Havoc, I think it's B tier. I think, kind of like Goro, doesn't have that combo potential. Well, he has that combo potential actually. He just doesn't have good damage. Goro probably has better damage just from like the simple shit he can do. So probably put Goro over him, but Havoc's not terrible. Havoc's not terrible, but he is one where it is noticeable how little compensation he gets for his combo strings. He just doesn't get damage. And by that I'm talking like 20 to 30% strings. That's like your average, which is okay. But when you look at the damage potential of the characters you covered previously, it's not great. Yeah, like Ermac I would have put in that group had I not learned of like what you can do with the slam and the toss and the combo. So yeah, we're going to put him in B tier. You could make a case for C tier. We'll see where people end up. But I think he's the weakest character we've seen so far. And you could make an argument that Goro is. Hotaru, I think, is pretty good. He's the easiest character in the game, but in my opinion. I mean, he's just a difficulty one. I usually don't agree with the difficulty thing, but I think they're spot on in saying Cobra and Hotaru are difficulty ones. Although Cobra, I think, has more complexity to him. There's more to master compared to Hotaru. Hotaru has a whole 2 special moves and very, very brief combos, 3 hits at the most. Again, kind of feels like a tanky character, and it's kind of like how Shao Kahn and Goro are designed, having like that similar amount of short but damaging strings. Well, with Hotaru, he has a quite good damage potential. He's another character with a throw that does a pop-up, which is always nice. But it means his throw isn't broken like others. But yeah, he does some good damage. I don't recall what damage I've managed to get from combos, but I think it's like 30 to 40%. It's a bit higher than the other characters. I think we're going to put him anywhere. It'd probably be top B. I think he's separated from the AP because these are characters that can get like 50% or nearly that, and on top of just very great tools. And Hotaru, Of course, more limited in the tools aspect, firstly because he has the least specials in the game. There are two decent ones. The lava burst it's one that the AI will again tend to jump away from, or tend just to know how to dodge it. But when it catches them, it's blockable as well. But when it catches them, and it's safe to use is the benefit. While it usually misses. You usually either misses or it's just blocked. It doesn't do what you want. But if it hits, they get propelled to you. You get a little bit of a juggle combo off of it. So it's a good move. Grasshopper kick also good. Another special move. It does a lot of damage. Could be a combo ender, but again doesn't scale too well. Can be done on its own if it does good damage, but again that's unsafe. So yeah, it's good, but there's not much optimal usage for it. Again, I'm again Hotaru. I mean, I don't think he's better because I think his Visors are just worse when he's missing a second hand to hand. But he gets like 2 more special moves that are pretty cool. It's a shame he doesn't have them in Deception. I hope that Ultimate MK Deception mod actually brings them over, because I know it can bring Armageddon stuff over in terms of animation stuff. Hopefully Otaro gets a move, because admittedly, yeah, having only 2 special moves does feel quite incomplete. A Day Alliance had that thing where there weren't many special moves at all. Deception kind of brings more in, and Armageddon continues with that trend. I like the idea of special moves being not like crucial, so that's why I really like 3D games, because yeah, they're not essential per se, but they're still very special and important moves. So him having the least not very beneficial, especially when he doesn't have very long strings or anything. Has a good variety stuff, but I think he's mostly unsafe. It is what he does. I think he has some decent range with his Naginata, of course. His Naginata has some actual cool strings. It's a good pop up. His Naginata is a solid weapon style, I'd say. But again, nothing too crazy with him. He has some good pop-ups. His first style, get the pop-up. And then you can... And I know he has some solid wall combos. Can you follow up on this with the overhead chop thing? Of his second style. Which is Piguar. Which is very good in Daylight. Not so great here, admittedly. But still okay, in my opinion. He has free string, and it's solid, easy damage, but he's capped. Again, it's another case of a character where you can master him pretty quickly. There's not too much that you can expand upon. Not that he's like just simple character and there's no variety to him. It's just in terms of damage, when it comes to combos, yeah, you're kind of capped. Not to the extent of how he can core it though. So I'm going to put him higher. Even though he may not have as many good tools, I just think his flying stars overall are better compared to these two. So he goes high, even though he has weaker special moves and some crazy great damage. I think he gets the top at B. Boy, you have a lot of characters here, Jesus. it's taking a while. Next is Jade, and I don't know where Jade's even considered when it comes to online, but offline, real good, has everything I've talked about this that we want, except maybe great special moves. Special moves are fine. Actually, we'll go in first. She has a Razorang, which is an okay projectile. This one actually has a pretty bad startup, I think. Takes a while to start up. But yeah, and the projectile is always helpful. Has a teleport, which is one that doesn't go into an attack, just teleports the other side of the opponent, which again, having that mobility tool can be useful. Well, it isn't crazy good or anything, but teleport again, a nice utility tool. The Blazing Nitro kick, which is the same as Johnny's Shadow kick in this game. It's okay. It does a decent amount of damage. I suppose you could use it as a combo over, not very useful for that, and it's very unsafe. So when I say it's okay, I mean there's not much optimal usage for it. But of course, on lower difficulties, you can bust it out. Am I missing something? Are those her free specials? Does she? Oh, of course, she has the energy aura thing. Whatever it's called in this game, who knows? that makes her immune to projectiles, which always nice to have. Of course, not crazy important in a 3D game, but again, they are useful tools. They are useful tools. You will find some use out of them, but there's nothing crazy powerful. It's where it comes to the fighting styles where she gets real good. Again, full style branch combo, which is like 36% off that. That and Raiden's the longest ones, I believe. And then you just have so many options. I don't know where to start. Her staff, you have several pop-ups for that. It has incredible range. It's a longer staff like Baraicho's and Raiden's even. I think it has the best range in the game of full weapon styles. It's very good, and you get a lot of damage. You get a string off. You can lead that into a pop-up if you want. And that scales well. It's, again, her full star branch thing is one where you get a pop-up. You can just do basically the full combo. I don't think it's the whole way there, because I think you have to stop on the second star. I think that's Raiden. That's Raiden who's like that. Her and Raiden can go hand in hand in this. Although I'd probably say Raiden's better, personally. Actually, I don't know. Just start, but like all of them, just both, like all three of them, just offer some things really, like solid movement, solid mix-ups, a lot of pop-ups, lots of combo potential, and genuinely good damage scaling. She is fantastic, and the only real negative is the special moves, I feel. 78 here. I think I think she makes it to S. I mean, it's an argument that we can put her in S tier for the offline. I know special moves on anything crazy, they're fine, nothing crazy. But seriously, the amount of combo potential, the only problem is I don't know how unsafe a lot of stuff is. I think it varies, it really does, but again, you've got probably the best one with the full style branch thing, and there's just so much you can follow up with that, yeah, you're gonna get huge damage, Jay. And the only concern is, are you gonna be able to get those combos off? That's the thing. Are you capable of you able to punish the AI and whatnot? But yeah, she has such a huge moves list that there is going to be a tool. There is going to be mix-up that you can have. I can recall she has solid low poke and stuff, and just the staff especially, of course, because of the length of it. She's definitely in top tier. Now, I don't know where we put her in top tier, though, because it's very interesting to have her here. And hers is for reason. I mean, does her throw OTG? I don't know what her throw does. She does the thing where, like, I think she, like, flips you over. And I would have guessed then that doesn't OTG. If she does, that's insane, but she doesn't need the OTG. She just has great damage generally. You're going to get that 40 to 50% margin off of regular ass combos. And just the speed of the attacks and stuff, like it's very, very effective. It's a lot what I commented Asher for, and Asher definitely has the best special moves. I think Jade has the better fighting styles altogether. I mean, she makes this. I don't know whereabouts, but we'll look back at it. But I think she does get to S tier. Cabal, I also think he gets to S tier, even though his special moves aren't crazy good. Probably better than Jace, has a better projectile. Has of course the spin thing runs at you, makes you spin around. Of course he has that, which starts the combo. Of course it's very unsafe. And you can do it, yeah, of course. But I don't think it's you're not as free as it with it as say like Slam. You can do it off a pop-up. I don't think it's fast enough where you can do a string and then do the special move. But it is something better. I don't really touched on this yet. But a string where you get the height of it, and then you can do another string. And actually, a lot of characters do have this, but not feasible. And Cabal is the one that's most feasibly possible to do consistently over and over. I mean, if you want to know what I mean by that, just check checks combo videos here on YouTube. There is so many. And I get a lot of specific setups and stuff. Cabal's here, you can just do whatever the fuck you want, really. Basically, it is the hook sword pop-up, which is probably the hardest part because that pop-up's very unsafe. Then you do the kick, and Cabal's interesting because hook swords is the only style, the weapon style that actually branches off into hand-to-hand, and you're only really going to want to do this if, you're doing the string on the ground, or if you're against the wall, because the wall lets you get the extra style switch kicking. But you want to stop before you switch styles. And then you just want to do the same combo again, because the kick creates so much height that you can just easily do it a second time. And then you can use, and that's why I didn't bring it up, his first special move, that one of the weirdest specials in MK. He has some telekinesis for some reason, and he slams himself into you. And you could just end basically any combo with it if you had a time, right? Any juggle combo, that is. So that's useful. I don't do crazy damage. But it's one way you can try and activate it from afar, and if it connects, you'll sound together. Can get you close and stuff. I think it's a very useful special move, as weird as it is. His fighting styles are pretty good as well. Sunbin has some decent stuff. Has some decent style branches. I know second stars. There's some go into his hook swords and stuff. And I just think he's very, very strong. Very, very strong. Very easy, 48%. And some decent low pumps, at least with the hook swords, if I recall correctly. Although I'm struggling to remember specifics on his hands. I'm very confident that, again, I guess it's another one where you're primarily in the weapon style. But now that I think about it, as strong as that thing is, I'm thinking of the characters have an A tier, and I'm thinking, I don't think he goes to that level. Now, Jade's in terms of combo damage, of course, it's around that area, but Jade gets it like the easiest, because that's if you can pull off the strings right. You can learn the long combo strings, and you do it's not even timing stuff, because that's the hardest thing in the 3D games. If you are very experienced in these games, the hardest thing, regardless, of something that you will take forever to get used to, and it's always different for certain things, is timing of stuff. And Cabal's definitely difficult for that, but once you get it, really easy. Hook swords. But yeah, now that I think of that, he's not S. He's amongst these characters. Probably above Dark Souls, hand to hand, you definitely have more stuff going on. You're still primarily in hook swords. The hook swords themselves are probably better than gauntlets. He just gets good damage. He does get good damage generally, but it is that hook sword string where you just do the same string over and over that does get you that really good damage, that near 50% damage. So yeah, I think he's a fantastic character in this game. He's definitely here in A tier. Kenshi, I'll admit I don't play much Kenshi. I will admit, but he's pretty solid in this game. He has judo, which means he has the grapples and stuff, which are always pretty solid. Have some mix-ups. Judo also just has some good low pokes generally. And I know judo has, because it's the second style, right? Yeah. Okay. So the first one's Tai Chi, of course. It's the Kenshi style. And that's one where he has the full freestyle branch. We'd like to see that. His style branch combos are fantastic. Tai Chi's a very good one. You do these kicks, you go into style. You might want to be, judo with that. Whether that is part of the full string that you can start in Tai Chi, you might be in judo more than Tai Chi, probably, if you're looking to do some grapple stuff to get some decent free damage. It's just a very defensive style, if that makes any sense. And yeah, going to the katana. When you want to get that big damage, you go into the katana style. And of course, the classic one is just the doing that 4-hit katana string, you know, the one. Good damage. Even if you just do a simple sword pop-up and do that, that's like nearly 30% if I recall correctly. It's very good. I can't think of him doing crazy high damage, even though he has that one where he transitions to a 3 stars. I don't think he gets to the level of other characters who have that. But again, I haven't played too much of him, so I could be wrong, and I could be missing out on a lot of Kenshi potential. I don't know his telekinetic slam potential, in fact. Because it might be a case like Ermac, because I just learned with Ermac what he can do. I'll do a bit of research and I'll look back on this, but I think we're going to have to put a question mark on Kenshi. I will probably put an A tier, but I definitely take this one with a grain of salt. I mean, might as well touch upon special moves, actually. Telekinetic Slam is just like Ermac, except blue. Blue with the energy thing. And again, that's actually a good special move. I think the input's the same as well, could be wrong. He has a very fast teleport that goes to the front of you. He has like some range thing where like telekinetically he just stands there into some kicks and it hits you from afar. He has a very good push and he's covered a lot of distance and you can just teleport to him. Special moves are very good. He also has another telekinetic throw. It's different to Ermac's, but I think you can also do it like end combos. So special moves, he is kitted out. And I know Tai Chi and Judo are relatively safe styles. And of course Judo has the unblockable grabs. And a lot of lows. And Katana is the unsafe one, but you're going to get your big combos off of that. Yeah, Mind Warp is definitely a very useful tool for teleporting, of course. Okay, no, I was just looking for like combo ideas, and I saw one for 37%. And I do remember you can get the slam off. But if I think Tai Chi, you just do these regular hits, and they push quite high up, so you can just do one after the other. However, I don't think you can do any more than that, and that doesn't scale well. And you do the slam, and you can do whatever else, and it just doesn't scale too well. So, I mean, 37% is good, but the effort that goes into that, it's not a good payoff. But yeah, he does have strong potential there. So you know what? Yeah, I think A tier does suit him. I don't know. I guess I'd probably call him better than Ermac, even though Ermac, if you know the combos, I'm pretty sure Ermac has better combos. At least in terms of the ones using the slam, I think Kenshi Pro is better damage generally. So I'm just going to put Kenshi above Ermac. Not that they play the same, because again, they share one move, but yeah, I'd put them next to each other. And it says a lot of characters in A, which has surprised me, but when I think about it, it makes sense. Kira. So Kira's one that I see at the bottom of like every list, and I don't see it when it comes to offline. I think offline has a lot of stuff. Not great damage scaling, again. It's kind of like a Havoc situation, not great damage scaling. But I think Kira has a lot more to make up. Firstly, the Kiss of Death, good stun. Nightshade is a low projectile. The Black Dragon Ball is useless, I'll be honest. Although I think for certain wall combos it's a solid combo ender. But yeah, like the only use is a combo because it doesn't do great damage, even if you just randomly bust it out. And it's just super unsafe. Like you can just get put in a juggle combo, and that's how unsafe it is, just straight away. So not very strong. Kano Ball is not at all strong in the 3D games, at least until versus DC. So I wouldn't recommend using that much. But yeah, wall combos. She has some insane wall combos. I don't know, and it took me a while, and I have gotten it off in games. I don't know if it was the full one, but I've gotten good damage from wall combos. I know like the best was like 50%. I think it was banged on 50%. I think she has some potential for wall combos. But again, that's so specific, especially in 3D game, and environments are so different that a factor like that doesn't mean too much. But yeah, I think she does have more potential for damage. Regular damage, again, it's another one that's like between 20 and 30%. Has a lot of stuff that can start combos, a lot of pop-ups. some good Star Branch combos. The problem is they scale poorly. Um, Dragon Tea came in a style, but with quarter knives. And those are decent. You have one that causes a lot of knockback, which she has a projectile, so that can be useful. And of course, a stun that has deceptively long range. So don't play as her against. Don't use it against Kenshi, I should say, because Kenshi is immune to it because he's blind. That's a fun little thing. Although that is kind of crazy though, because it doesn't mean back in the day with the online, Kira would just be countered by Kenshi. Her best special move just does nothing on Kenshi. That's very funny. Also, she has like the spinning string, the back X, back Y thing spins around. Just like 17 damage of that is very good. Again, I think that was the main thing that allowed for some good wall combos, if I recall correctly. Hands are fine. I think she's relatively unsafe in her strings, but like regular attacks are pretty good in a lot of variety. I know she has some fast pokes in her second style. So they're just generally solid. Problem is the best damage is coming up the wall combo, and that's just not a very realistic thing. All these characters can have some insane combo potential, just like a practice of, but a lot of it is not achievable in regular gameplay, at least when you're looking at offline, right? Again, a lot of stuff that's done online that's broken, not doable offline. So it does create this big shift, and of course, damage isn't everything, but it is a very key factor to offline. Again, this is the AI. I think, does she go above Atara? I feel like she probably does. More strings. Atara has better weapon style, but I can't put her in A, but I think she might be top of B. I think we'll say that. She's better than she gets. So people say she is, both the character herself and just the gameplay. So I don't know the case for online. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, she's okay. And we got like the best here in this tier, and you got great, you got solid, and then C is like, I've personally meh for C, which don't think I'm any for. I don't think I'm any for, actually. Again, you could probably put these all in 3 tiers, but I think that's too few to justify a tier list. Next is Cobra. Next Kira, that's nice. Cobra's an S tier. I don't know whereabouts to figure it out, but Cobra's definitely an S tier. The best beginner character, the first character I played 3D games. Cobra's fantastic. Just again, kind of like Kira, except better damage. In terms of just a variety of pop-ups, a variety of combos. I don't think his Star Branch combos are good for Cobra. Cobra is one of the weakest Star Branch combos. But it's just swapping between the stuff to do these regular inputs is very good. Although kickboxing into styles, the one where you switch and you do the spinning attack, that's pretty good. Mainly only if you're trying to move into the weapon style though, because the actual attack, the actual string that does the spinning attack with the caddy sticks is just better, does really good damage, and this is why he was the best for speedrunning on the highest difficulty for so long. You can just keep doing it, and the AI will often fuck up. It will often just break when it gets to the spinning damage. It's just good chip damage down. That string is not safe, but the AI doesn't. It just gets fucked over by the spinning attack, which isn't like it might be. Actually, I think it is a high, but it's by the end of the string. You're not catching off guard. You can do it on its own now. It's just such a useful tool, and it cheeses the AI. But generally, just a very strong string. I think it's the best. I think it's the best string when it comes to beating Onaga. If I get stuck on an Onaga fight, I will often just swap to Cobra and just use that string for a very easy win. Especially because the problem is, and the reason why I struggle with Onaga so much is when I'm just playing, I'm just chill playing, I'll usually have it set to 3 rounds to win. Being Onaga 3 rounds to win on max difficulty is fucking hard. It's so hard because the Kamidogu, of course, is only 6. Um, but I digress. Coach is very strong in all his styles. All his styles do a lot. Gets a lot of decent damage. I don't think like a crazy amount, but again, it's one that just has some insanely good tools to, even though some characters might do more damage or might be on par with damage, he's better. He's because he could just his overall tool set. He has a high fireball and a low fireball. And when your characters have multiple projectiles, it's good for zoning. They're quite fast as well. Has a teleport punch as well. That's good. Although I want to say because again it goes through a punch. But again, he's good for zoning. He's good for that. He's good for everything. He's just so well rounded. What else? The spinning kick. That's a high attack and creates a pop up. Again, a lot of pop ups. Can't think of damage that's any crazy high damage, but I can't think of any damage that's like disappointingly low. He's well balanced. And being well balanced means very strong generally. But he's one that's good without having any broken aspects of him. Although offline, the main fact is that the AI is cheesed by the spinning attack, which that alone puts him in ass, I feel. Because everything about him's good on top of that. There's no real flaws with him. His like forward punch thing is very fast, does some decent damage. Just very good character. High 6 has some good range with the pokes as well. So I'm gonna put him in S tier. Again, I'm not sure the order of tiers when it comes to top tier, but I think he has a place there. Lee May. I know I see on low tiers, which I'm told even when it comes to online, that is not a fair look at Lee May. And again, Lee May is one that's just solid all around. Can I put her in 8? I don't know. Let's break it down. Special moves. Fantastic special moves. Has a good projectile, the Nova Blast. Has the flying punches, which are fantastic. So got the flying punches. Just very good in ending combos. The AI feels like they're caught off guard by it. Like they'll often like just stop blocking. So it's actually more safe than it is on paper against AI. Cartwheel. So that's that one flipping kick which makes no sense. But it does a good pop-up. And then the cartwheel kick can be used to very easily extend combos. Lee May has the longest combos in the franchise history in Deception. This is her best appearance. Again, just look for that one check combo video. Not doable in game. Not even he can replicate it. And I don't know anyone who can do combos better than him in MK. So just the combo potential is insane for Lee May. Just insane combo potential. Naturally, you're going to get probably around 30%. It's more up in the 20s. But good damage all around. And, well, again, one on paper doesn't seem to have any crazy high damage combos. Has some good pop-ups. Has some good travel to finger defying punches. Good combo because it travels well. And the scaling's not even too bad on it. For example, when I was doing chess annihilation speedruns, I'd use Lee May as my champion. Because if you started off in a combo, then you could do one that pushes him to the death trap, right? That's how far combos go. So again, death trap potential there. Kunlun Dao is a fantastic style, has a lot of strings for a weapon style. Just some regular strings that aren't anything too crazy. But also has one where she like spins the sword, and any spinning attack is very good against the AI. Just ask Cobra, of course. All the styles are fantastic. Has a good in a second hand. Has a good style branch. Spins the sword around. Just very good, very strong. Again, does everything right. I think it's kind of similar to Cobra in that way. But I don't know. I don't know if she goes this high up. Because again, A tier has a plethora of characters who have insane combo potential. So does Lee May, though. But Lee May, her combo potential is probably less when it comes to natural combos you're going to feasibly be able to do in a match. But I think her overall tools are just superb. I don't know. I don't know what we do with her. Oh, put a question mark on it. We'll put bottom of S for now, but I'm not sure. Liu Kang. Pretty good, pretty damn good. I didn't think he was great initially, but boy, he's got some common potential. With particularly, I can't remember if it's first or second one, but he has like these two short punches. They push you up. You can do it again, and you can just then follow up with a special attack. It's very good for common potential. Again, he's like an A tier character for that. Nunchaku, I don't think is that great of a weapon style, but it does have a decent combo. Just some decent combo potential and some good damage. Special moves or something like that. The flying kick isn't too great. You might as well just do the bicycle kicks. Liu Kang's bicycle kicks are weird. Shijinku actually has better ones because he gets one less kick in, Liu Kang does, and also he kind of goes flying off screen for some reason. And hard to explain. But yeah, it's still fine. Also, there's a high and a low fireball, if I recall correctly. His fireballs were shaped like dragons as well in this game, which is very cool. I don't know why they took that out. After MKS DC. Oh, it's MK9's fault again. Is there anything else? I think that's it. I think that's it for the special moves. I don't know much to say about him. He's just generally very solid. And again, some very good combo potential in doing what I said about getting the special moves in the end or just repeating the juggle string. And we're looking at like near Cabal. I think they're the same. This is Cabal. I probably have like Cabal above Liu Kang, but Liu Kang's pretty good. 2, 4, 6, 7 characters in A tier. Okay. Wow. And the thing is, I want to separate them because they're all in there for very similar reasons. Just good tools all around, except Darius, but Darius is a very, 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 very good OTG. That gets him in this crowd. But yeah, Melina, worst character in the game. Okay, no. Actually, yes, probably yes. But against the AI, she's not terrible. Let me explain. She has the worst scaling in the game when it comes to damage scaling. You'll be lucky to get a 20% damage combo. I don't think you're getting a 30% damage combo. However, there's two key things. Jump kick into throw. That's a guaranteed throw. That's one that I do know is a guaranteed throw. And I said jump kick, I mean teleport kick. Teleport kick is a really good tool against the AI. Really good. Melina on paper is C tier. 100%. But offline, I don't know. Because this is genuinely fantastic. I did the Scorpion 300% damage thing challenge using this. So many perception challenges I completed in Conquest with this, and of course we're not talking about that's in Conquest, but it does just show how effective it is. How often the kick lands. All you have to do is vary it up a bit with the guaranteed throw. And that's all you can do to just win games against the max difficulty sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work in your favor, but boy, it's effective. It's effective. I used it in my chess combat world record. Like, she is super useful for that alone. And again, it's coming about AI, just screwing with the AI that gets her very high up. She does it like no one else. That I don't know. I think that's gotta be considered. That had regular stuff. Just variety has some good like low pokes and stuff. Like genuinely, her moveset would be fine. There's good mix-ups. There's ideally good combo potential and stuff. But literally none of it scales well. And that's the big flaw. Just nothing scales well. But if you got a broken teleport kick, maybe you don't need good damage scaling. It's interesting. The ball roll is very unsafe. I can't think of much use for it. Kind of Kano ball. I can't think of much use for that. And she has a side projectile, which is a bit of a slow start, but it's solid. Solid projectile. You have a projectile. You'd rather have a projectile than not have a projectile, right? So I don't know. I don't know, because it's kind of like, oh man, I don't. Name is here got a whole lot harder when I brought this up, right? Because, oh my god, maybe we don't need a C tier. Because I really do think that teleport kick makes her admittedly stronger against the AI than a lot of these characters. If we're talking about fighting like a character like Onaga, she is the fucking worst. She is like look, here is your challenge. Here is your challenge. Defeat Onaga, 3 rounds to win, max difficulty, as Melina. You're not doing that. You are not fucking doing that. Shit. So I don't know, because Melina, if we're just like normally, is the only one here. But again, we're considering this offline play against this AI, and when you got something so broken, I've taken into account for Cobra and Lee May with the spinning attacks. So yeah, I guess I do count it here. And if I do, she's at least top B. I don't know, because AT just have really good damage across the board, right? So I'm not too confident in saying that we go that high for it. But yeah, oh my god, this is in 2 hours now. Alright, top of B, I guess. Top of B, go on. Jesus. I don't know if anyone makes a C tier, actually. I don't know, maybe we do need to split it up a bit, because... I wonder. Nightwolf. Pretty solid. Some decent damage, nothing too crazy, but like something like a tomahawk combo can be followed up with the shoulder bash. Shoulder bash is very good. His special is very good. Has a reflector, reflects projectiles, very good, although the timing's tricky. His lightnings would be an alright projectile, but it kind of sucks against the AI, because this is like the one that they always jump back from, like always. Unless they're already doing an attack and you interrupt with that, then it's going to miss, or like 100% guaranteed, I'm pretty sure, on high difficulty, at least, like even just regular hard, not even max difficulty. Still has a good bow and arrow projectile. And he has Taekwondo, which is very good. It's just like Sonya's, just very good mix-ups. Although, I mean, it's very good online, it's still good here, but the same benefits are lesser, like low attacks, being safe on block and stuff. Not as important against the AI. Again, we're kind of looking for, can you do good damage? Yes, okay. you're doing good on the TLs. And he does do decent damage. He does. I don't think it's A tier levels of damage, though. It isn't. Nor does he have the tools to bring him to S tier. But I don't know. I think it's B tier, probably. I didn't even talk about his hand-to-hand, I'm sorry. Tomahawk is a good string for 1, and that's about it. I mean, it has a decent pop-up, but kind of standard. Taekwondo, I mean, I was just talking about Taekwondo. His first hand-to-hand is alright. I think it's pretty good. Has a... I can't even remember now. Shit. I just want to talk about his main star, right? And tell what you do for some good juggle combos. Yeah. I don't know how to rank him. I'm really not sure. Because I think he's just generally solid, but I don't think anything takes him over the edge, at least not against AI. He's at a solid level where online he goes up a notch, but I don't think here. I think I might put him above Kira. The roll is very effective at catching AI off guard. The Taekwondo roll. I can't remember his first start though, I'm very sorry. I actually can't. So put a question mark on that, because apparently for the life of me, I've forgotten a third of his fucking moveset now. But yeah. Moving on. Noob Smoke S tier. Everything about him is unsafe. for both noob and smoke, because everything's unsafe. They don't have much strings. Like noob has like a very small moveset, admittedly. But they got a lot of broken stuff. They got some good stuff, okay? Which brings up that can be used as well flying, I feel. It's not as important. But for example, I told about the monkey flip thing. Great OTG. I know that's one that could definitely infinite against the wall. Tanya has the same one. Tanya probably has to go next for that, probably. Oh, but no, actually, because so the monkey flip is aimed for the corners, and Tanya, unless you're doing the infinite, Tanya doesn't have much going on. We'll get to Tanya, and the infinite, basically infinite. As far as I know, I don't do it myself. I haven't actually tried it, but to my knowledge, if you go him against the wall, you do the flip. The flip can then you can just grab him again. If that makes any sense, you just get a free throw off the throw. If you're against the wall, that's how I think it works. Which that's very broken. But ignoring that, because assuming my information that's wrong, because I can't confirm that. It's also some good stuff against the walls. You can do some very crazy stuff with it. Starting off the match, you can get that kick in, but that's about it. Unless you're against the wall, you're not getting anything off of the monkey OTG because of how far the throw is. The throw takes the opponent, at least. It takes them quite far away. Smoke, you're probably going to be using more of a noob. He has more going on. His throw is actually a stun, so you're doing flow of a combo, although it does not scale well. It's still a good throw, though, throwing that stun. But yeah, it's not like broken, to my knowledge. And yeah, just has some better strings. And they have some crazy damage potential combos. And it's a very, I wouldn't even say easy, but I can do like a pretty consistent 46% or whatever. So that with the A tier characters, they definitely surpass that because they have the crazy tools of S, but they also do have that crazy damage game that's put all these characters so high up in the list. At least in certain strings. Smoke is generally does good damage. Noob, not so much, but if you're using him against the wall, got a lot special moves, if they really do shine, because they have 9 of them. The ones that Eva can do is like a swapping around punch, teleport punch, or teleport kick, where they swap out. Noob has the weaker attacks, although are quite useful for. Actually, no, this is a smoke one, never mind, because it's the shuriken throw that. New pro shurikens, you gotta be playing a smoke that actually comes from behind. What noob can do is he can go invisible, which I don't think does anything to the AI. I don't think invisibility actually affects them at all. Online it would, because you go completely invisible and it's a 3D game. But yeah, here I think that's a completely useless move. His other one is like smoke will come with him to do his charging fist, and I think that's it. Smoke has a lot more. Has the smoke cloud thing that acts as another stun, which can be very useful for starting combos and whatnot. He has the teleport uppercut, again unsafe, but very good for starting combos. Doesn't scale too poorly. What else? Oh, the shuriken throw, which is great for extending combos, because you throw the shurikens, it actually propels them into the air. That's how you get really good damage with noob smoke when it comes to juggling. So yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I think I'm missing. I know I'm missing something. I think that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm missing a couple. What am I missing? I swear they had 9. Am I just wrong? Do they have 7? Oh, yeah, no, I'm right. Because the throws count as 9 on the special moves list, don't they? Right. Okay, so you're about covered then. They don't have a third style, of course, they don't have weapons or anything, but they don't need it. they really don't. Just good combos, very unique playstyle, a lot of special moves. They're very much up here. They're like of Jade, above Jade, maybe. Let's go with that. Raiden, another S tier character, because oh my god, he has some insane damage, like Jade, and I probably see he's better than Jade, in terms of having that really long full string, and then you can just follow up with that single. Again, it's what you're talking about Ashra having. Ashra can do that with the full star match. But Jade and Raiden's are just on another level. They are insanely strong. And that alone puts them this high up, because what a long string, and again with the AI, not going to break or anything, you've got a very long card. That's 36% off that. Then whatever you follow up with, although you've used so many hits that it's not going to scale too well, you can still do most of that same string again in the juggle. And I think this is what especially puts him over. I think generally, the staff, also the staff, which again, like Jade, a lot of good range, a lot of good strings. I think they have the same strings in some parts. So yeah, very good then. Again, it's quite similar. A lot of long strings, a lot of just mix-ups and stuff. Range with the staff. But the special moves definitely put Raiden over Jade. He has a very fast teleport. Has the flying torpedo thing, which very unsafe, but you can push them very far away. Could set up some death traps. Has a throw and then also this grab, and they look very similar. But the grab here could be used to like end combos, so that's useful. But I don't know how high combos optimally would use it. You're going to get some decent damage out of it regardless. Oh, and of course he just has like a ball of thunder as a projectile, a pretty fast one. Very, very strong in this game. Yeah, definitely an S tier. And yeah, look at this. Look at them all just bundled together. Yeah, I'm sorry, my tiers do not look interesting, do they? And again, this isn't like an undisputed list. I feel like there's a lot of that's quite subjective, especially for the AI, and there might be stuff I don't know regarding like infinites and certain OTGs. Because the only OTG I'm confident in my knowledge of is like Darius, even though I don't know if you can infinite from it. Could be wrong. I could be wrong in saying that I don't think you can, but I don't know. Scorpion, he's alright. He's alright in this game. Scorpion is he's considered top 3 in like all the 3D games, right? Except this one. Even though he's ranked pretty highly, if I recall correctly. Has a new sword, Demo Ryu, or whatever it's called. How it's pronounced. It's not as good as like his ninja sword. A ninja sword is just the same as a katana. Shorter combo strings and just less. There's less to it. But it's not terrible. You've got a fine combo string. A couple of them, I think. And yeah, hand to hand's pretty good. Got some good string, got some decent damage, but again, I'm looking at 20 to 30 average. Special moves are good though. Hellfire, still pretty good in this game, of course, blockable. His teleports alright. Again, unsafe, but you can get a lot out of it. Let's see. The spear, of course. Spear's very good. Drags him over, free combo. Pretty safe to use as well, depending on your range, that is. But it does go a far length. And what else is there? What else is there, I wonder? Is that it? What am I missing? I'm missing something. He has 4 specials, doesn't he? The 4th one might be his throw. I might misremember that. Hellfire, spear, teleport. Is that it? I think that's it. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Scorpion, again, kind of like Kenshin, don't play much, but yeah, I think he's pretty solid. Again, because I don't play much, I might be missing something regarding potential with combos, but I don't think he has much combo potential. He's just generally solid, and probably put him like... Yeah, I don't know much to say about him, so do take this with a grain of salt. I don't know. I mean, because I probably put Ataru over him. I think Ataru has more going on. I don't know. But right now we got this even list. Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn news at the bottom of the list again. Another one like that. I think he's actually very, very good. I think he's very good against the AI. I think he's one with an enlisted style branch. I think it's been a while. It's been like a year since I played the Genki characters, but I do remember thinking he was better than Goro, for sure. He's probably up in B tier. But I remember he had pretty good damage, and it's just pretty solid. And in his second style, because second style had actual strings and stuff. I think it was the second style. Yeah, because that one has branches into the Wrath Hammer. His first style kind of pretty bad. I know he has one hand to hand that just is like a pop. It's like a weapon, like a bad weapon style worth of strings, and the Wrath Hammer obviously doesn't have strings either. So the style with the combo strings helps tie it together. But yeah, that definitely limits his placement. But yeah, he does his second style. I think it is. I can't remember the name. But yeah. It was pretty strong. Some good strings, just solid damage. I know he's one where against the wall you can get some good combos. Special moves, he's good. Has another healing taunt like Havoc, where he does just mock the opponent like MK2. So that's cool. I think he can only do it 3 times a match though, which is weird. That's different rules how it works with Havoc, but I'm not going to question it. Uplifting here, pop up, shoulder bash, causes a lot of distance, does a lot of damage. Yeah, just good special moves. Oh yeah, he has that projectile that comes out of his mouth. That one's pretty cool, but more of just a regular projectile in terms of its utility. So I think it's good. It's a lot of pop-ups, has a lot of just single hits to do a lot of damage. But that second style gives him a lot of combo potential stuff too. So I think he's high up. I think he's like, I don't know. Similar to Otara in a sense. Was he better than Scorpion? I don't know. Scorpion I really don't know actually, because I sort of remember stuff with his moveset and Deception, but nothing really stood out to me. And I feel like I'm probably missing something with Scorpion, so I do apologise for his placement. Yeah, Khan actually really actually surprisingly strong against the AI. But at the same time, I don't know. What difficulty was I playing it on? I wonder. I just think he's very limited by having like 2 styles with no combos. So yeah, but he's kind of like Katara in the sense of being tanky, can do some strings. But yeah, I can't really justify putting him higher, I don't think. Shijinko, probably the best character. And yeah, I don't think we don't need a C tier. I can't see any of those 3 going in, although the next 2 are probably low down on the list. Probably the best character, honestly. He has Havoc's Throw straight away. That's a free pop-up. Tons of competition. He has so many special moves. Of different characters, and all really strong ones. Has the Spear, has the Ice Ball. Those are both stone and have combo setups. There's lots of stuff that can start combos. And boy, let me tell you about his combos. He's no one that has a lot of star brand combos, a lot of big ones. Let's go through all styles and do a lot of damage. He has so much combo potential. Of course he has the tools, because he has so many special moves and all really good ones. Cobra's 4 and punch. She has a better bicycle kick than Liu Kang, don't question it. He has Raiden's flying torpedo thing, which again can set up for death traps and stuff. And he has like in the PlayStation Xbox pretty much going off of, he has broken damage in like certain strings. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, Mantis, Shadow Fist, those are coming as styles to take alliance. which, by the way, coming out of Daily Life, is really good in that game for combos too. The literal only downside is his weapon style fucking sucks. Dancing Down is pretty bad. It has one string technically, and that's just 2 hits with a sword. Has a good pop up in it. I think it has a good pop up that you can go into like a Mantis style branch, but you're going to be barely using his weapon style. But you don't need it. You really don't. He's just so stacked in his hand-to-hand movesets, Mantis especially. So I think he probably is the best to use offline, personally. And I think he's not even considered good online. I don't know why in particular, but yeah, he's fantastic. To play against CAI, just so many mix-ups, just fantastic, just so many moves. So yeah, S tier. Sindel, one I haven't played much until recently, and she has some crazy potential with like this 2-punch in the first style. I think she can keep doing it, or is it a second? I can't remember. One of her hands do these 2 punches, and that kind of pushes him up, and he can do another one. There's potential in that, but I struggle with it a lot, and that could just very well be a skill issue. So I'm not going to take too much into account, but I think she does a combo potential with that. Generally, again, it's another 23% combo character, and without the tools to push her higher than solid. Although I think her specials are decent though. The scream, a stun for a combo, that's good. Has a low projectile, that's good. Is it a low one? Yeah, I think so. Actually, no, it's not. I'm making that up. I'm getting confused with the one where she slides across the ground, grabs your legs, and hits you. That's a good one. Those are specials. Those are 3 pretty strong ones. There's nothing with her hair, but I guess that makes sense because the 3D tag is probably going to be very hard to do. Yeah, those are 3 very good specials. Her throw is decent, very cool. Yeah, it's more grabs and does a kick. Nothing special, don't think it can OTG. But yeah, it is solid. I think the kick can like trigger death traps and stage transitions, which is why I brought that up. And I could be making that up completely. I don't know. Styles, her Quandao is pretty decent for a weapon style. Again, a lot of range, very good low pokes, even though quite slowly, just a ton of range, and then has a good pop up. Hand-to-hand styles are alright. I don't know how much to say, kind of like Scorpion. He was one I played more recently, and I learned more. I feel like there's a lot I haven't learned with the character though. So again, take this one with a grain of salt again, like the GameCube exclusives, like Scorpion, like Kenshi. But I do think she'd be in B tier regardless. But I think there's hidden potential above Kira probably. She is solid, definitely. Sub-Zero, because they're low down online. I think he actually. So it's interesting because he's one that has a style branch that goes through all the styles, and that's kind of a stand-up thing. Except his special because Ice Ball's useful, although it downscales damage, but it's good to start combos regardless. As being a projectile that can freeze you, of course, that's good compared to other projectiles. Has Cold Shoulder, which again it's not a low side, but Cold Shoulder is quite useful, especially against the AI. Not a max, but you can often just keep doing it, and the AI just won't block it on lower difficulty. So that's something. I know a lot of people do that's like that again. That's kind of like Melina's telekick, where a lot of people do it. So yeah, Sub-Zero might be top of B tier actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Because it has that good style range. Doesn't do crazy damage though, and you can't follow it with much. I mean, actually, the full star branch doesn't even. It's not a pop up at the end. The pop up's in between it, but you can obviously stop at the pop up and do something else. But yeah, I don't think he does crazy damage regardless. You know, he does. You think he would? He doesn't have his Ice Shaker anymore, which was very good in the Alliance. He has the Ice Clone back, and the Ice Clone is not great because it's a 3D environment. So it's just hard for people to hit it. So we're talking about AI here. The AI might be stupid, but it's not around long enough for you to like in other games, it's not like you have the clone there and you can set up stuff a bit. It's just kind of there for a bit. If the opponent is tricked by it and walks into it, then they're frozen. You can't really force them into it, so it's not particularly great. I don't think it's for OTGs. I could be wrong though. I feel like his throw might be one, but he does swap you. Like, he does some elbows pretty cool and he like flips you over to the side, so that's probably why I can't OTG, because of where you land. Yeah, here's Shitoken's very good. Dragon has a lot of good tools, a lot of fast movements, a lot of low pokes. Just doesn't scale the best. Cory Blade is kind of like the Dantium Dow, but better. Has a good, like, it has no string except this one where it's 2 hits. This one knocks you down now and does decent damage. So it's decent. I mean, there's also Star Branch combos involving it and stuff. So you can get something out of the Cory Blade. So yeah, overall has good tools, but not good damage scaling. So yeah, we're gonna put him above Melina because has better Star Branch stuff. But yeah, I can't put him in A. Tanya, I think we can though, for sure. And then it goes an A or S. So throws are good, but she has nothing to OTG with it unless against the wall. And apparently there's that infinite, but I don't know how that works. What I do know is, yeah, you can get some good combos against the wall, like Noob. Much like, I don't think she's as effective as Noob against the wall, but yeah. Human Cannon Drill can sort of combos, although it's quite tricky. The timing's very off and stuff. Has a regular fireball projectile, that's fine. Has one from the air, which is alright, but the starter for that takes a while. It can often be countered by the AI. What else? Oh, she also goes invisible, which, yeah, kind of useless. Funny how Noob and Tanya share 2 special moves. That's curious. Counting the throw, that is. So yeah, the special moves are all right, but nothing too great. In terms of fighting styles, good scaling, I'd say. Her weapon style probably must out the Cobra Jutsu. Just very good combos there, very good strings, good damage scaling. You can get some good damage off there. But I do think she has less potential than the other characters here. I think she makes it to A tier, but I don't think she goes higher. And again, it might be I'm missing something, but I don't want to misplace her off the assumption that there's something more to what I've done, because I play as her a lot. So I'm going to put her in the bottom of A to be safe. Although maybe we change sort of... I mean, this is quite a neat list, actually, if we... if we took out the GameCube characters, and this would be an even list. But I don't know, because it feels like I've categorized these guys. I've having to do it. It's come very naturally in putting them in just 3 tiers here, in the sense that these are the best for whatever reason, right? Then A tier, you are very good, typically, probably because of your damage scaling, which is actually like Darius and Tanya. We're just going other ways. They're just generally good characters, right? And these are solid, but they have downsides compared to they are generally solid in positive ways. They are solid, but they have downsides, which puts them a tier down. And I don't know. I feel like there is a gap here. I feel like there is a gap between, like, I think Havoc is the weakest character, probably, in my opinion. I think he's probably the weakest character. But I don't know. I mean, lists I've done in the past would be separated into what tiers, but I think it works like this. But I don't know. Because I feel like you could argue that you separated Shao Kahn and have these guys. Although, then again, poor Scorpion, I don't know what's going on. You know what? I'm going to check. I'm going to check and get a verdict on Scorpion. So yeah, my verdict was what I thought it was. I didn't really elaborate on the stars. Muy far he's given, which is kind of fucking awful as a star, I'm going to be honest. It's one where you have 2 hits and you do kicks, which, you got a lot there. But poor scaling, nothing that really helps Scorpion out. In particular, it's quite a cool style. Hapkido's still very good, though. I have definitely noticed. Hapkido is kind of what carries the character, and it might carry him out of this tier, but I don't know. Kombat is not good. The weapon style's okay, though. So I don't think we can put him bottom tier if we were doing this. I think he goes above Khan. But even then, I don't know. These guys aren't terrible. No, I think against the AI, there is enough positives to the characters that 3 tiers works. I think I do stand by my S tier in terms of its order, but I think you can swap a few of them. And that's the thing, that's what I'm sticking with 3 tiers here, because, like I said, there's a very specific categorization for what tier you count as being in, and then we've kind of organized it, but yeah, you can alternate them. Let me know what you guys think. It took many hours. This was much longer than I thought, but I do ramble about these characters. Deception, the best game of MK, for sure. Absolutely love that game. And yeah, I will continue to play it. I'll think more. Maybe we look back at this another time and I'll reconsider placements, but every character is viable in this game, just about, at least in an offline sense. Online, again, not my expertise. But I think this game's balanced enough offline. But there is definitely a noticeable tier difference. And I feel like in the game itself, and not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, I feel like you can separate by 3. Where you've got, oh wow, these characters are crazy good. These characters are like, wow, they're pretty good. I'm getting some real good damage off of them. And then you got a character that are just side overall, but they got nothing that makes them stand out. Not in terms of them being fun as a character or whatever, just nothing that stands out in terms of being a powerful character, being on this tier list. I think that's the B tier. And hey, look at that. It's a very even list when you get rid of the GameCube exclusives. I would talk about the Unchained exclusives, but Unchained, I mean, I need to play. I play on the emulator as well. The Deception emulator plays pretty much the same, alright, as the GameCube one. I give a decent enough opinion on Kombat. I don't think it would change in actual hardware. But the PlayStation Portable thing, the emulator I use, the fact that a lot of my experience comes fucking around online. I don't think I can fairly compare them to characters from a different version of that game. I feel like Unchained could probably be a completely different tier list in some ways. Because there's a lot of changes and whatnot. Although I don't know how much it would impact offline is the thing. I have no clue. I don't know. So I'm going to leave them out. And yeah, in terms of the base 24, this is how I categorize them. I probably sound like that. Scorpion maybe can go a bit higher, but I don't know. Maybe I do need to try more. Maybe I need to try Kenshi a bit more. Any others? I guess. I think that's it. I think that is. I'm happy with this list. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I got anything just completely fucking wrong. Because, yeah, there is a lot to this game. And like I said, I haven't played in months, right? So, there's chances that I got things wrong. I misremembered things. Or I just didn't remember things altogether. But overall, I'm happy with this list. So let me know what you think. If you guys should watch till the end, thank you. That was fun. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.